but China will be a bit smaller in population size. That we already know. The most recent population numbers suggest that China will end up somewhere at 700 million people. But China will continue to grow. China will still be the largest economy in the world, probably in the next decade, if not a little bit later. Growth will come down, no question about that. It won't be 6.5%, 7% growth as over the past 10 years, but 4% to 5% growth over the next 15 years is still very well possible, even with declining population. Because most growth will come from productivity growth. And that relies on innovation on the one hand, and on the other hand, on continued capital investment. And China seems pretty well positioned to continue that growth, at least for the next 15 years.
Right, so that's interesting what you said about China becoming the world's biggest economy. You think that it will happen in the next decade or so. What will the implications for the globe be with China holding the mantle as the world's #1 economy?
Well, very important for the world is how open they are. It was just discussed the dual circulation strategy that underlies a lot of the plans for the 14 five-year plan. But in the longer term, if you want the first phase of the new era, as Xi Jinping would say, if that indeed implies that China will continue to be open and increase its domestic demand and therefore increase its import, that will be a boost for the global economy. If in contrast, they would become more protectionist, more domestic circulation, emphasizing domestic supply chains, then China may become bigger, but it won't have as much an effect on the rest of the world.
Will China move to become more of a consumer-driven economy rather than the industrial powerhouse that it is right now as we, of course, move over the next decade or two?
Well, look, China's at a per capita income level where in most other countries that has happened. So beyond $10,000, you see demand more driven by consumption. And I have little doubt that will also be happening in China. One of the signs that you see is that wage income is now rising quite a bit more rapidly than GDP, and therefore consumers have more to spend. At the same time, China comes from a very low level. Household consumption is below 40% of GDP, which is very low compared to the 60 to 70% of GDP you see in OECD countries. And there, the reforms that were discussed previously, such as income redistribution, such as getting a bigger share of the pie to households, and fortifying the social security, getting better health insurance, big reforms necessary to make that happen relatively fast.